we had a good start, winning 2 bets. I still have the Uruguay to top the group bet as a tip. But I haven't been tipping since. Now, using FIFA ranking is a good method. It does tend to predict which teams are gonna make it to the later stages of the World Cup, which is supposed to be the point. I mean, that's why they're the FIFA ranking. What they want is for the good teams to avoid each other, so that we don't end up with, Brazil, Germany, France, everyone in the same group. They all knock each other out at that stage, and weaker teams end up in the knockout stage. So that's the point of and the aim of FIFA ranking. Now, it's typically the better ranked team is the better team, and so you'd expect that team to win. But in football, it's trickier than that, because the better team wins maybe half the time, something like that. It's not they win 90% of the time. Also, the betting market is dynamic, it's adaptive, it's smart. Like, people who are betting their money want to win. So the basic dynamic of a betting market is that typically more people will bet on the team that is most likely to win. So you go, well, of course, good stuff. That's what you should do. That's how I'll make money. I should bet on the team that is going to win. But what happens is, since people are trying to win their bet, the odds get driven lower and lower, until actually, when you win, people are willing to accept very low odds, and so when they win, they only win a tiny amount, and when they lose the entire bet. So that's how the bookie wins. People will just bet on the team that is expected to win, even though the odds they're being offered are poor. So you might, if you're making 5 bets, you might win 1, 2, 3, and you go, great. But when you win, you're only making, 20%, 30%, 40% profit. A small fraction of the amount that you risked. And then you lose the last 2. So you lose, if you were betting €10 on each of them, you make maybe €10, winning 3, 3, 4. So odds on favourites. But then you get shock results and you lose 10-10. So you end up, having made 5 bets, losing €10. You feel you were unlucky. I should have won, because the team that you had backed was the favourite. But it's a small drip, 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 drip of your losing money. And you can see that in the recent results. So and that's why I haven't been making tips, because there hasn't been a real clear bet out there. I mean, there was in the ones that I made, like there seemed to be value there, but in the recent one, we can see there wasn't great value. So we had Brazil versus Switzerland. Everyone thought Brazil was going to win. The odds were only 1.45. Now the problem there, again looking at the ranking, Switzerland is ranked 6th in the world. So they're a very good team. And they regularly, get out of the group stages in the World Cup, and so they're not they're not threatening to win the World Cup, or they're hoping to make the semi. I mean, they're a very good team. Brazil are ranked 2, so Brazil are the better team, and I would say if they played each other 10 times, Brazil would win maybe 5 or 6 of them, and 3 would be a draw, and 1 would be a Swiss win, something like that. But odds of 1.45 are not good value. Again, it's hard to tell because we haven't seen, but we have actually, when I'm recording this, the game has occurred and it was a draw. But at the start of the World Cup, we don't really know what shape the players are in. I mean, is Neymar injured? We know Brazil did well in the South American qualification, but how good really are the South American teams this year? So, or how good are the South American teams traveling all the way to Russia? So the weather's different. There are a lot of uncertainties there. So, as we have several more games, we'll start to get a better picture. But if we had bet on Brazil to win, we would have lost. It didn't look to me to be great value because, as I said, Brazil are a very good team, ranked 2 in the world, but Switzerland are ranked, 5? So draw was a very likely outcome, or for sure a possible outcome. And so I'd want better odds than 1.45 when rank 2 is playing rank 5. Likewise, when Germany were playing Mexico, Germany are rank 1, but Mexico are a very good team. Okay. I mean, they're ranked 15. They're not ranked 5. But they're a very good team. I would expect. I mean, Mexico would be the second best team in the group for me. I forget who the other team was. Was it Sweden? Who are also good, but I mean they're 22nd. Mexico nearly always qualify from the group, so I would expect Brazil to top the group and Mexico to come second. That would have in this case it's Germany and Mexico. Getting confused here. So we'll see, but it's not as if we were talking about Germany playing against maybe Russia or against Turkey, like a team rank near 40. There's a big gap, and so I'd be willing to back the top team, so a team that's in the top 5 against a team in near 40. That's why even I'd be, and I don't think I tipped France to beat Australia, because France are only ranked 7. I mean, they're not in the top 5. I mean, the team still doesn't really flow. I mean, okay, in the end they did beat Australia, but it was pretty close, and there was no value in that bet either. I mean, the odds were pretty poor, so even if you won the bet, you won a very small amount. So back to, what was the point? Well, the point was, firstly, to point out why I haven't been making tips every day, because I haven't seen clear bets, and I kind of wanted to see a few more games to kind of get a better sense of what's going on here. And the whole point of you'll either have a top team playing against a weaker team, where you kind of go, oh well, Brazil and Germany are, really elite teams. I'd expect them to win. But in those matches, you really get poor odds. So in the games where you can kind of feel confident that you know what's going to happen, everyone feels confident that that's going to happen. So the odds are really low. So if you win the bet, you don't make any money, and if you lose it all. So those are not particularly attractive bets. So then you really have to do your work. So then you have to go, oh, I might get better value saying Brazil to win 2-0, or maybe say look at the corners market. So there are other niche markets, subtle ways to try and find value. But you have to. There's more work involved, basically. So I'll see what happens in the next while. But I'm sure there is going to be value. There will be. At the moment, next I want to have a look to see whether basically going for go against the favourite. So basically, like on Betfair, you can be the bookie. So you can either make bets that Brazil are going to win, or you can take bets that Brazil are going to win. So I could take a bet of €10 on Brazil, and then if Brazil had won, I would have lost €4.50. But if Brazil didn't win, I would make €10. So we can then use the fact that, if it's a kind of obvious result, everyone thinks that the obvious result is going to happen, and the odds become very low. And so it's very handy being the bookie, because if I lose that bet, if the favourite wins, I only have to pay a very small amount. But if something else happens, then I win the double or more what I risked. So that's probably the route I'm going to look at for the next few days. At the same time, I don't think so I would say I am going to back Belgium to beat Panama, because they're the type of games where Belgium is a top-ranked team. I think they're ranked 3, and Panama are a very weak team. So I would expect Belgium should win. And in fact, I'd say I would expect Belgium to win and 2.5 goals to be scored. Or I might back Belgium to win by more than a goal. So I'd get better odds than 1.18. Because I would be pretty confident that Belgium would win this one. Because Panama are one of the weakest teams in the World Cup. So I would say nearly every team would beat Panama. So I would be very confident about that one.